South Africans should be angry about the failure of the Correctional Services Department as well as private security company G4S.
Now, that is the view of former NPA prosecutor Glynnis Breytenbach, who sits on the Justice and Correctional Services Portfolio Committee. It's investigating, of course, the escape of Thabo Bester.
Yeah, Breytenbach says no one wants to accept responsibility for this failure and it should cause public anger.
But I think the overarching feeling of the committee, and should be the feeling of all South Africans really, is one of incredible anger. How this man was able to corrupt so many people, to have access to very sensitive and specialized and technical information in order to be able to plot and plan this escape. All the assistance that he must have had. There were 23 officials on duty on the morning that he escaped, and they all looked the other way. It's impossible that 23 people failed to see what was going on. And then, of course, the authorities who are responsible, first of all, G4S, who's responsible for keeping him there. They have one job. G4S has one job. They run a maximum security prison. They paid 40 million plus a month by Correctional Services to run it. And their simple single job is to keep the 2,900 odd inmates inside the prison in a safe and humane fashion. And of course, they failed spectacularly to do so. So the problem begins there, they accept no responsibility and are trying their best to not be held accountable. But, when Correctional Services knew, they did nothing. When the police knew, except for 2 members of the police who actually and very remarkably did their jobs, the rest did nothing. And to a degree, the Office of the Inspecting Judge also at some point, was aware that Bester had escaped, and none of those institutions did anything to inform the South African public, to warn the South African public, more importantly, or to support or warn or inform or protect the rape survivors, the victims of Bester previously. So all of those outrageous failures should make South Africans very, very angry.
Well, Parliament's Justice and Correctional Services Portfolio Committee will be investigating why Thabo Bester was allowed to leave prison on weekend passes.
Oh, you just heard from her, Glynnis Breytenbach, saying this is actually completely unheard of. She reckons there's a deep-rooted culture of corruption that is very, very evident.
Absolutely. Now that the attention of everyone has been focused on it, we will have to look at why he was in possession of a cell phone when he shouldn't have been, why he was in possession of the laptop. And they did offer a very flimsy explanation during the week about why he was in possession of a laptop, but nothing that stands up to any kind of scrutiny. So that situation will have to be scrutinized. How precisely he was able to produce that event in, I think it was 2018 that you speak of, certainly we're going to have a look at that. If he was allowed out on day and weekend passes, I mean, that's completely bizarre. I've never heard of anything like that, a maximum security prisoner serving life being allowed out on a weekend pass. It doesn't exist. So we need to have a look at all of those issues and then try and find out what went wrong at this prison. So clearly, for all of those things to happen, there must be a deep-rooted culture of corruption, of enablement, and we're going to have to look at all of that and dig very deep and learn some very serious lessons from this.